How to build an email list for marketing. Guys, I'm not gonna tell you to go beg people to join your newsletter, although there's nothing wrong with that. But in this video, I'm gonna show you how I've built almost 100,000 people in my email list. Largely organic, few tricks to that. Let's dive in. One of my mentors is Russell Brunson. When he was first starting out his internet marketing career, at that time, fax machines are really big. And he saw all these other guys going out and they would just fax their ad to all the fax numbers they could get. That's illegal now, but back in that time, right? That wasn't a thing though, right? It's not that long ago. You could go and you could fax ads, and so they would be making just like tens of thousands of dollars. They'd be making so much money faxing people their ad, right? So he wanted to go off and do that. He had one of his mentors, his name was Mark Joyner, still an amazing guy, definitely a guy to go look up as well. Mark Joyner was like, dude, don't go get distracted by fax machines, build an email list. And he's like, I don't want to build an email list, I just want to go build this fax machine company. And they would have just employed tons of people just constantly faxing out all their ads. Well, one day, Mark Joyner was right. And Mark Joyner, brilliant man that he is, was like, he called it, and it suddenly in one night was now illegal for you to go and fax out all these ads to everybody. And all their businesses dried up and died. And he was so great, Russell was so grateful that he had spent all this time creating an email list. I want you to understand a very key thing here. Email list or not, lists are one of the greatest assets of your business. When a big company acquires a small company, right? Like if Google goes and buys an incubator, it's not like Google couldn't code what they did in an afternoon. That's not the value. The value is the subscribership, the amount of people on the list. Okay, there's a lot of other ways to value a company, but it's one of the most rudimentary ways still today. You gotta build a list. I'm gonna teach you how to do that in these next few steps. First, one of the easiest ways to create an email list is the very first part you really should have is a squeeze page. It's also called a capture page, called an email capture page, called an opt-in page. They're all synonymous for the exact same thing. Basically, it's a place for somebody to put their email in. There's a lot of editors out there that will help you build your own squeeze page, a lot of them for free, a lot of trials on stuff. I've built with several kinds, but my favorite is still ClickFunnels because it's so, I don't have to be a coder, I don't have to be an editor. Now, I'm gonna tell you real quick about the squeeze page. Simpler is usually better. Some of the highest converting email capture pages are literally just put your email in because XYZ happens. That's it. Blank white background, nothing else, no flash, nothing else, just that. There's a lot of ways to do it, but that's still one of the top ways for you to actually collect emails. You gotta have that in order to do any of the ways I'm about to talk about. Let's dive into 3 strategies here. First way is through organic traffic. Organic traffic really means when you aren't spending ads. And what I like to do is I like to find ways to stand in front of moving rivers, right? Think about, is it faster for me to take a shovel, walk outside those doors of the studio back there, and just start digging? Like, this is how I build my stream, right? Or go to the Mississippi River, start at the edge of it and start digging backwards. Obviously the latter, right? And that's what I want to do when it comes to building an organic list. So the ways to do that is to start attaching yourself to what is current and happening now, all right? Go and figure out ways to stand in front of all the traffic that's happening currently. You have to understand, and this comes from Russell and a lot of his mentors as well, you don't create traffic, you stand in front of it. Traffic's already there. The internet world is already moving. You're not creating traffic, you're capturing it. You're not creating it, you're standing in front of existing traffic. And so if you're gonna grow organically, and you're like, Steve, I can't quite spend money to go build a list. I couldn't either when I was starting. So what I did is I started getting good at being able to stand in front of existing conversations that were hot, getting in front of existing things that people were kind of having these different points about. That's huge, big trick, massive hack to the game, big hack to the game, okay? So I'll tell you one of the ways I do it right now is I have a podcast called Launch for Profit. It's a bunch of launch strategies and stories about rich dead guys who didn't have the internet, right? Right? How do I launch without the internet? Really cool principles and stuff there. So what do? All right, so I tell people, go to launchforprofit.com and you can download this freebie thing that will give you some cool launch techniques, right? And you can check it out. That's exactly what it is there, is a page where you can put your email in and you can go and it will give you something in return. So one of the easiest ways to grow an email list, create a freebie and put it in front of organic traffic, and they get the freebie if they give you the email. That right there is one of the cornerstones of all internet marketing and literally square one of almost this entire game, all right? Just learn how to do that, and you're gonna start growing a list and growing this asset, and you can go and make sure your business is secure. On that point, just want you to know that the metric we follow is we try to make $1 per person per month that's on our email list. So if I want to make 100 grand a month, grow a 100,000 person email list. The better you get, maybe you're making $2 per person per month on your list. And by the numbers, this becomes a numbers game, and you're like, oh, that's how all these internet marketers are making so much money. We just grow a list. And the metric that we tend to see is $1 per person per month on the list. And if you start getting better, then it's 3, then it's 4, then it's 5. I think the highest I've ever gotten is like 6 or 7, right? And it fluctuates back and forth, whatever's going on in my company. But that's it. The asset, the business is the list. And that organically right there, putting a freebie in front of existing noise and traffic, doesn't cost money. I don't have to pay money on ads. It's one of the fastest ways to grow an email list. All right, the last method I just mentioned is really, really powerful, but it's a little bit slow compared to the second one here I want to go into, which is paid stuff. Paid little tiny things, okay? For example, this shirt you can get for free plus shipping, right? You just pay for the shipping, and we actually lose money on this, right? So we tell people, go to capitalismswag.com, get this shirt for free. Well, what happens? They put their email in. All right, what happens really though after that? They put their email in, and you'll see this if you choose to go check it out, okay? You put your email in, we send you the shirt, and then eventually we're like, do you want to go check out that other product too? It fits really well with that. And it's very hands-off, it's not a big push, but here's the big kicker. Guys, write this down, staple it on your forehead, all right? Money is faster than time. So if you like that last strategy, oh, it's free, it's also slow. Money is faster than time. So what we do is we spend money on ads towards something that collects emails, all right? And the easiest way to do that is to send paid traffic to a place that's something small and cheap, right? That has a very low barrier to entry. It's like, hey, $10, you know what I mean? Hey, $7, hey, right? Like Russell Brunson's Free Plus Shipping books. One of the reasons it's so powerful is because it self-liquidates the ad cost. It pays for the ads. The product pays for the cost of the ad, but moves faster than free methods, moves faster than organic methods. Does that make sense? So what we'll do a lot of times, and actually I have a whiteboard, I'm in my studio right here, right? My office is on the other side over there, and I have a whiteboard over there that I'll just brainstorm really cool ways that we could go make small little, we call them front-end products, things that are cheap, things that are small, things that we don't really make money on. I actually go in the hole in this just a little bit. But what it does is it lets us go collect cash and spend money on ads, and we go faster than the free organic engine. And so I'm telling you this, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go with the organic one, that's cool, but real marketers spend money to collect their list of buyers. Real marketers spend money in advertising, eventually, to go and build their email list. It's one of the reasons why our list grows so fast today. So build stuff that's small, cheap, and drive paid stuff. Now, I'm not a Facebook ads person. I don't know how to do them. I hire someone for that. I'm not huge on that part of it, but we do it. And our list grows way faster because we're spending money than the organic methods. Guys, before going on to the third way I like to grow a list very, very quickly, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm begging you. I'm not gonna get on my knees, but you should subscribe. Hit the little bell button for notifications because we release videos basically every day, and they're as juicy as this one has been. Also in the comments, please let me know what has been one of the coolest ways you've grown an email list. Okay, now the previous two strategies are definitely awesome. They definitely rock, but they are nothing compared to the Holy Grail number 3. Oh baby, influencer shoutouts. This is so awesome. I help at ClickFunnels with what's called the One Funnel Away Challenge. I'm one of the coaches and teachers there, and I can always tell whenever they go start a new challenge, because I'm in the content, because my lists get this massive bump in like 3 days. Right? It's like same amount, grows the same amount, and then all of a sudden the influencer, Russell Brunson, right, or this challenge or whatever, comes in and says, hey, here's Steve who's gonna teach you about X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, and 3, right? And then all of a sudden, boosh, huge amount of people. Guys, my social media groups exploded. I can always see whenever they're doing the next one. It's hilarious. Boop, and it's massive. Getting influencer shoutouts is one of the biggest ways. So how do you do that, Steve? What I would do is I would start reaching out to people who would be very complimentary to what you do, trying to figure out ways to serve them in their audience. Do not reach out to them and say, can you promote me? I hate that crap. I'll blacklist you. Don't do that to me, okay? I have bled for my audience. I have worked my face off for this, and every influencer has. So don't approach them and walk up and say, hey, can you please promote me? Psh, gone. I'm gonna backhand you. But what you should do, though, is find ways to serve them and their audience. Serve them and find ways to help their audience get more of the outcome they're seeking. Now, I've done that in a lot of ways. I will get the influencer on a podcast that I've done, or I will go and talk about them and do a highlight reel about them. One of the coolest ways someone ever did for me is they bought a piece of software we created, paid for their own developers to improve it, and then created a how-to guide on their own dime, and then just sent an email to me saying, here you go. And what did I do next time he reached back out and wanted a favor and wanted a boost and a shout out? I said, absolutely. He led with value. So it's cliche, but it's the real thing, all right? Influencers don't want to be bothered by people. Can you please give me a free meal ticket and please promote me? I hate that crap. Backhand. I might send you the image of a backhand if you do that to me, okay? With that sound effect. No influencer ever wants that from you. Instead, please go back, start finding ways to serve them. And what you'll find is there's these really natural, because they want help too. So if you help them, actually help them, your list, your email list starts to explode. Hey guys, got a free gift for you. I already told you about it. Link is in the description. Go to capitalismswag.com. I like to attach myself to organic noise and put some paid traffic behind it. You're gonna see me execute exactly what I taught you in this video by going to capitalismswag.com. Links in the description so you don't have to type.